Good in the back. Coach, ready for you, Mark, sir?
Yeah. Thanks for being here today. Want to start by expressing my thoughts and prayers to St. Louis and the St. Louis community and to all those affected by the tragic events of yesterday. Just such a shame for us to continue to have to face these types of stories and issues. For me, it's not political at all. It's about protecting the future of our country, and our children are our future, and we cannot continue to live like this. We just can't. You know, I talk to our staff and I talk to my wife. It's all the time about, it's not about who's right, it's about what's right, and we need to get this right. We've got to figure out how we can protect our kids from walking into schools afraid. That should be the last thing on their mind when they're walking into a school to learn and to grow and to mature and to become our future. And so I'm just asking for all of us to instead of picking sides and picking and pointing out all the issues, let's find solutions. You know, let's find real solutions. And so we will do something as a team to honor those on Saturday, and again continue to place St. Louis and our community in our thoughts and prayers. With that, I'll talk about something that really becomes secondary to that, which is football. Got a tremendous opportunity this week. Got a very difficult challenge, which with challenges become opportunities, with adversity become great moments of opportunity. And that's what we really have to face a top 25 team on the road. Coach Beamer's done an excellent job as he continues to build and establish his program. They're playing with great momentum and energy in all three phases. Obviously, that stadium will be very loud, and we'll have to do a great job of replicating that noise and having a good practice today. I believe Texas A&M had 7 false start penalties or related to delay games related to noise. We're going to have to protect the football. We're going to have to play well on special teams. They blocked 5 punts this season, had multiple returns for touchdowns on the kickoff game, and obviously started the game versus Texas A&M with a kickoff return for a touchdown. Offensively, they have dynamic weapons. Josh Vann, obviously the quarterback is extremely talented. Marshawn Lloyd, Jaheim Bell, transfer tight end Austin Stogner. So they've got a lot of weapons, and again, consequently why they're ranked in the top 25, and will be a challenge for us. They do a good job with their schemes. Clayton White, defensive coordinator, doing an excellent job, is a great person. Was fortunate to work with Clayton for 1 year at NC State, and know that he'll be well prepared and has his guys ready to play. Obviously, Pete Limbo, their special teams coordinator, does a tremendous job. Former head coach at, I believe, Elon and some other places, and has always been regarded as one of the best special teams coaches in the country. So, got a tough challenge ahead of us. With that, I'll open up for questions.
Eli, when you look at just some of the numbers and stuff with South Carolina, it doesn't jump off the page. What are they doing so well to have gotten themselves to 5-2? Are there things that maybe aren't showing up?
They've been very opportunistic defensively to create turnovers. I think that's one of the things that maybe you don't see, the good field position, the ability to play with the lead, creating havoc plays, forcing 3rd and long, and then capitalizing on special teams. You know, they've been able to create huge momentum swings in the game on defense and special teams and capitalize on offense.
Eli, how does your defense, the way it's playing this year, maybe change how you're able to call games or manage games compared to your year?
I mean, it's all about complementary football, and the objective is to win a game. And I think, you know, whatever it is now, but the objective is to win the game, and so you got to play complementary football. You got to play to your strengths. You got to fortify your weaknesses and work on your weaknesses, but you don't want to put those people in, put your strength in a bad situation, which in the losses, we've clearly done that on the road. And that's something that we have to change. In our three losses on the road, we've given up a pick six, a interception return, 4 turnovers in a row, a punt return to the punt return for a touchdown, and a punt return to the 20. And at that point, you negate any of the strength that you have with your defense. And so those things have to get corrected. But then in the games that we win or the games that we've played well, even on the 2 road games versus Florida and Auburn, we were able to fight back into contention, but we've had to spend so much energy to get back there that we're not able to get over the hump. So, again, it goes back to our team playing complementary football. I don't necessarily know that it has to be a certain style of play as far as the head coach or the offensive coordinator, but it does have to be understanding that we can't put our defense in bad situations and expect them to come through for us.
You mentioned Williams-Brice Stadium. You've had some success there as head coach, two different places. Is there any kind of through line to being successful in that environment? Because it is a tough place.
I've been a part of some really good football teams and, had some key guys step up and make plays in key times. I think that's usually the key of any victory. I do know that, really coached there 3 different times, once as an assistant at Auburn, but all 3 of those games came down to the fourth quarter and the ability to make a play at the end, which, again, for me was extremely proud of our team on Saturday, finding a way to do that. In the previous games, we had not been able to make the play that we needed to win the game, and we were able to do that this week. And I think that it's kind of interesting. Went back, as we review the South Carolina film from last year, we really did the same thing. We got into a very difficult situation. We were up 17 points in the fourth and had a turnover in the red zone, similar to last Saturday, threw an interception, and then had to run the clock out offensively. So it's part of that when you're on a little bit of a snide, being able to gain that confidence and find a way to win. And so now we just need to build off that.
Coach, after you got a chance to watch the tape from the Vanderbilt game, what were some of the big differences offensively between the first half and the second half?
Yeah, a lot of things start with being able to consistently protect the quarterback, being able to consistently establish the run, getting our playmakers involved. But I think if you go back and look at it, being critical of myself, ball on the 9-yard line, 3rd down and 10, I should not have been as aggressive, and probably should have called a safer play there to just, again, put our defense back on the field. We would have been punting with the wind, and not put ourselves in a bad situation. So I'll take the blame for that, and I'll take the blame for the performance in the second half, and that's on me as the head coach and offensive coordinator to get it corrected.
You mentioned on Saturday that some of the hits Brady has taken. If you were to get in a situation where he has to miss a play or whatever, who's your next guy up at this point?
Yeah, it all depends on the timing and the situation of the game. We're actively working all of our quarterbacks in practice to see who can develop, and depending on the situation of the game, what the injury would be, it would determine who would be the next quarterback in. So in long and short, I'm not going to tell you.
What does Spencer Rattler do that's unique?
Yeah, Spencer's a very talented quarterback who's really getting comfortable within his system and leading his team to wins. He does a good job handling their pro-style offense. He's able to create space with his feet and keep his eyes down the field, extend plays. He's able to throw the ball vertically down the field, and he's been doing a good job of getting his playmakers the ball.
Seeing increased production out of DJ Coleman the last couple weeks. I mean, just throughout the year, how far has he come? And what did you guys see out of him that made you convinced he could jump up that level?
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have DJ, and he's been playing extremely well, and really has earned his opportunity to continue to play at a high level. and continue to earn more and more reps in the game. He does a great job of affecting the passer in both the pass phase, but also as a really good physical player at the line of scrimmage in the run game. You know, when he put his name in the portal, he was in there for a while, but as we continued to watch the tape and really tried to measure the games versus Power 5 opponents as best we could, we noticed the influx of weight and felt like when he really played well, I believe it was 2 years ago against Florida State, his weight was up, and then last year towards the end of the season his weight had really dropped, and we just felt like with Coach Russell and Liz, our nutritionist, and Coach Russ, our strength coach, if we got him here in June, we really felt like we could get him to that 260, 265 where he could play very sturdy in the run game, and obviously has the length and the quick twitch to affect the passer. You know, it's not really in our league, it's not really about, I mean, obviously you have to have a certain amount of twitch. The conflict becomes, do you have enough speed to rush the passer, but also enough size to handle the run game? And that's really where the conflict becomes in recruiting at our level. That's why there's so many people that can maybe play at other conferences that don't have to face the size that we do in the offensive line in the trenches in the run game. And so that's the great balancing act. Are they long enough and fast enough to play here, but are they long enough to add the weight? You know, Isaiah McGuire is a great example of somebody who came in, added the weight and the speed, you know, and he's 6'5", and he's able to play at, you know, 270 and rush the passer.
Luther Burden obviously brought a ton of skill, but how have you seen him get better? Are there areas that you've seen him really apply himself and improve halfway through?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Luther is one, understanding that football and life is a process, and you're going to have to learn to eliminate the outside noise and clutter and expectations of people and focus on what you can control. And I think that has become a process for him of, hey, I can't worry about the expectations and the outside noise and all the things that are all the pressure to perform for others. I've got to continue to work on myself. And then I think the second, and this is really important, was the ability to get healthy so that he could really play back to his full potential. You know, in college football, when you get nicked up and you're at 80% or 75% playing against great players, you don't look the same. You're just not the same. And so that bye week, you know, he didn't even practice Sunday last week because we were still like, I mean, he was questionable all the way to Wednesday, just getting full speed. And I would still say he's probably at about 90%. But I think once he was able to get to that 90% and practice to again recreate the process, because we're not good enough. Nobody's, until you get to the NFL, are you ever going to be good enough to just show up and play? And that's really what we were having to do on that 3-game stretch after Auburn. I mean, we were having to barely get any practice Tuesday, barely get practice Wednesday, and then trying to show up and affect the game in a manner that everybody's putting pressure you to do that. It's not realistic. And so I think him embracing that understanding, being able to practice last week, has led to the results. You know, I saw a stat yesterday where he's one of, you know, a couple of players that have had multiple rushing, multiple passing, and a punt return for a touchdown, and I think he might be the only one in college football. Yeah. So, you know, all that other outside noise, you know, I don't know.
Eli, what, over the course of the next 5 weeks, what's most fixable on offense?
Turnovers. Don't turn the ball over. I mean, don't turn the ball over. We got a great defense. So it starts with turnovers. And then the second thing is being able to consistently protect the quarterback. We have to protect our quarterback. We've got good players on the perimeter who demand a certain type of attention. And if they get one-on-ones, we got an opportunity to win, but it doesn't matter if we can't protect the quarterback. So it starts with turnovers, and then it goes to protecting our quarterback.
Your two running backs have kind of flip-flopped the last few weeks as far as who's had the big game. At what point in the game can you guys kind of identify, hey, the hot hand, and is that kind of the process, just hey, we're gonna give them both an opportunity, and whoever's having the better day at that point?
I think there'll be a more defined role moving forward, with Cody taking the lion's share of the reps. Cody's consistency in production, consistency in ball security, consistency in protection. But yeah, we felt really good about both of them, and just seeing who maybe was seeing the game the best or whatnot. But I do think that moving forward, it will be Cody, and then however the rest of that plays out will be based off of practice this week.
Coach, your last offensive drive against Vandy, you guys started with a QB draw, similar to what you did against Florida. Is that something where you kind of take what the defense gives you, or is that part of a game script for the last 4 minutes or so?
Yeah, it was really a quarterback counter scheme. We went unbalanced to the left. We knew what their unbalanced adjustment was. We allowed the tailback to be the lead blocker on the corner. If we got the correct double team, we would be able to get the tackle to the mic and pull for the safety, and your quarterback would be really free runner. And so it was more of a number scheme design play that we felt like in a 4-minute offense, use your quarterback as the extra runner. We had not been running the outside zone particularly well, and so it was kind of like, all right, what at this point in this situation, what can we execute? I think the next play was inside zone, which went for -1, and then the third play was a shot down the field, Damo. Not a very good drive.
Eli, how did Cody even get on your radar last year, or January, whenever that was?
I've gotten word that he was in the portal and that he had always wanted to be a Missouri Tiger, and so we watched the tape and said, yeah, sure. If that's something that he's always wanted to do, we'd love for him to walk on here. He showed up in January, didn't really think much of it, to be honest, and then consistently worked out, consistently was doing really good things in our morning mat drills, the way he carried himself, the leadership, the intangibles, the work ethic, showing up for two-a-days, and then has just consistently showed up and done everything we ask every day. And it's amazing that if you're consistent in your discipline and you're consistent in who you are with character, good things seem to happen. And that's really what happened with him. And I mean, the lines dwindled, people loss of availability, injuries, whatnot. He was just consistently there. And then, he outplayed everybody in fall camp. And we felt like maybe it was because of injuries and whatnot, and still try to give other people. But he's taken advantage of every opportunity and runs incredibly hard. And yeah.
Eli, just how difficult is what he's achieved playing from that level this time a year ago up now in the SEC and starting on like the SEC team?
It's difficult, yeah. But it just goes to show you that college football is not a perfect system as far as identifying and acquiring talent, and neither is the NFL. It's people's ability to maintain discipline, believe in themselves, and work to achieve their dreams. It's the American story.
You alluded last week to Hiram White maybe kind of getting closer. I mean, do you have a chance to get him back this year, and how does that play into whether he might, want to come back and get a waiver for, I guess it would be a 7th year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really a decision that he and his parents have to continue to weigh and factor in. What our responsibility is to try to get him healthy as quickly as we can and put him in a situation where he can feel confident to play. And then we want what's best for everybody on our team, whatever their future might be. If that's for him to play this year and then pursue his dream of playing the NFL, then we'll support it 100%. If that's, he's not quite back ready and we need to file a waiver, then we'll do that. Those conversations haven't happened. I think we all know what the possibilities are. It's either one of those two. But we're not trying to put any undue pressure or timeline on that.
Could you ever see yourself being a head coach and not calling plays?
Yeah, boy, I dream about it all the time, honestly. Usually on third downs, I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Yeah, I'm not opposed to that in any realm at all. Again, as you continue to grow and develop as a head coach, you look back and see the things that you're doing well and the things that you go, oof, okay, I got to improve on this. Okay, maybe there's a weakness here or a blind spot there that I'm continuing to grow at. So absolutely, I could see myself doing that if the timing was right or the right people or the right scenario and situation. I think one of the things that I've accepted the challenge right now is that this is a situation that I've created and I need to fix it. And it's not somebody else's responsibility. I can't walk out of that room right now because it's not working. I've got to dive in there with everybody and say, okay, what can we do? How can I help these guys? And so whatever the future might hold as far as that, we'll decide at the end of the season. But I'm not opposed to it. What I want to do is win football games. I believe there's a certain style that we want to have offensively, which is rhythm, attack, execute. Right now we don't play with rhythm. When we attack, we're having trouble protecting, and we're not really attacking the way we want to in the red zone or in the run game. So, whether that's bringing back the wishbone next year and doing it with those three things or whatever, that doesn't faze me. It's, I think I really feel strongly about the way we've handled and approached and been able to improve the defense, and now I've got to continue to do that in our program. I think when I look back on where we're at now, we've improved in recruiting, we've improved in our strength and conditioning, we've improved in nutrition, we've improved in defensive football, we've improved in fan attendance, we've improved in facilities, we've got a new indoor that'll be open up in June, and now it's about, okay, there's some other things that are lacking and what is going to be the best approach to improve them. But there's nothing within me that says, man, if I'm not calling play, I mean, like that's not, there's not enough ego there for me.
How many head coaches do call plays? Do you know in the Power 5? I don't know. I'm just curious. You're not the only one, certainly.
No, I have no idea. I have no idea. It's really popular in the NFL, but I do think that in the past 2 years, college football's changed quite a bit. My job description's changed quite a bit with full-time recruiting as far as now your own team, the portal, high school, NIL. So, there's some responsibilities which led me to say, okay, I wasn't going to be able to continue to coach the quarterbacks at the level that they needed to be coached. And so I'll just have to reevaluate at the end of the year and say, is that the same thing there? Not saying it is or it isn't, because I'm also not going to say that just because you're struggling now, that doesn't mean that your entire past track record's been off too. It just means you got to evaluate why and what are the reasonable solutions and fixes.
Can you give?
And we got 5 games left, so.
Can you give people an idea of what that process is like? I mean, I think some people think, well, the offensive coordinator just decides everything, and so. But obviously, I'm sure Bush is involved helping you up top. Can you give people an idea of what that process is like of the conversation or whatever?
Like the game?
Just
Yeah,
like
game planning? Oh, play to play? So, we the process really starts on Sunday. As soon as we're done putting our film away, we self-scout what are the things that we do well, what are the things we got to really work on, and then we begin watching our opponent and decide what are the plays that we feel like can be successful, what are the plays that we do well, where are the number advantages, what are the schematic advantages, how do we take advantage of what they're doing, how do we take advantage of what we do. That continues all the way until, I was just watching third downs in red zone. And we'll continue that tonight. Then you go into practice and say, okay, we practiced it. Is this going to be good? It didn't look good. That goes all the way until Friday. We have everything kind of compartmentalized into this is rundowns, which is first, second down, second and 6 less, rundown runs, rundown passes, second and 7+, runs and passes, shots and specials, screens, red zone, third downs. And so, and then we have what's considered openers or P&10 plays and packages. And so, there's conversations in between series about this is what we thought, this is what they did. Okay, was it an execution issue? Was it a scheme issue? Was this a bad play? The second series of the game, we went 3-by-1 to the field. They brought a corner cat, condensed this -1. Next series, we would open up 3x1 to the boundary to prevent the cat, and we get a +5. So those are kind of game plan changes that we understand. Hey, 3x1, they're going to bring a cat. Let's flip the formation to alleviate that issue. So that's kind of the back and forth. You know, a lot of times when you're really struggling in the second half, it's kind of crickets on there, and you got to dig deep and figure out what can you do and what gives you guys the best chance. Football is a game of confidence, and our confidence got shaken. We got to continue to build confidence. We got to remind our guys what we are capable of and what we're capable of doing, and then, you know, show them these are where we have to improve, starting with me.
Coach, with Sam Martin being told he was going to play and then not getting a chance, how's he responding to that? And did you have any conversations with him after the game about that?
Yeah, Sam was clearly told that we would like to get him in the game, depending on how the game played out, and that was the plan. Best laid plans of mice and men. I wasn't planning on being up 17-0 and the game going the way it did in the second half. So, you know, things adjust, and as we all know, we all got to adjust. I don't think it really fazed Sam at all.
Is there a scenario where he gets in on Saturday?
There's probably 100 scenarios in this game. So, yes. Will I tell him that he's for sure going to play? No. Could he play? Absolutely. Yep.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, sir.
Everybody loves